Today's episode is all about learning how to work with fiberglass and Gelcoat and epoxy in high temperatures. Now, our family over generations of building and repairing boats has learned a lot of tips and tricks, and I'm happy to share that with you DIYers at home. Now, if you're new to the channel, I would like to welcome you. My name is Joe Buskins. I'm a second-generation professional boat builder, a 100-ton U.S. Coast Guard licensed captain. In the summer months, we run our custom-built charter boat that we built here in our family shop. In the winter months, we build and repair boats and make videos for YouTube for you DIYers out there. So we've got a table full of really cool stuff. And first off, we're going to just start with the basics of like what has the biggest effect on how fast or slow fiberglass, Gelcoat, and epoxy is going to cure. And one of the big factors is going to be temperature. The hotter it is, the faster this stuff is going to cure. And then secondly, the amount of catalyst or activator you're going to be adding to this is going to affect it. So one thing I would recommend having in every shop, or if you're doing this kind of work, maybe just a good old-fashioned thermometer, and then also recommend a little infrared temperature sensor or probe. Now you can see right now we're showing 87 degrees, which if you look here, some people doubt the accuracy, but you can show it shows that we're seeing right at 87 degrees as well. And the temperature is going to affect what percentages of catalyst we're going to add. Now, again, if you've been following the channel, you know a lot of times I have a little cheat sheet here for you folks at home, and you may want to do a screenshot of that. But this would basically show you, for example, if we were doing, say, 32 ounces of resin, then you would want 10 to 20 cc's. This would be like on the low end around 1%, and 20 cc's would be on the high end, and then accordingly 16, 5 to 10, 8, 2.5 to 5. Now, you can theoretically go slightly lower than 1%. 1% is going to be safe, it's going to activate, it's going to cure. You can go down to about 0.75%. So for 32 ounces, that might be more like 7.5 cc's. I wouldn't personally recommend going much lower than that, and I would also recommend you doing a test batch if you decide to go that low on something non-critical. So that is one way you can slow things down a little bit, is adding the minimum amount of activator or catalyst in your Gelcoat or resin. Now with epoxy, you're gonna have fast, extra fast, fast, medium, slow, and sometimes you can even get an extra slow, or they call it a tropical. And when it's really high temperatures, you're going to want to use the slowest activator possible to give yourself a little longer window. Now, when it comes to temperatures, if you're not working in an air-conditioned shop like we aren't, and a lot of big boat factories, they continue to build boats all through the summer, and they're not working in air-conditioned conditions in a lot of cases. You try to work when the temperatures are lower naturally. So like, for example, when we get up to go fishing early in the morning, a lot of times the temperatures are like in the mid to upper 70s, whereas the daytime high can be in the mid 90s. So our family in the past has even gotten up super early when we're doing a fiberglass project, get everything ready the afternoon before, and then get out at your boat shop at like 4 o'clock in the morning and take advantage of those cooler temperatures. That's going to prolong the cure time. Now, another little trick you can do, you may wonder, why do we have the cooler here? And I've got some resin chilling out right now. That's from Fiberglass Warehouse. That's a vinyl ester laminating resin, which is my #1 favorite resin currently. I mean, it's like epoxy is good, polyester is fine, vinyl ester is like the best of both worlds, and I've been very, very pleased from Fiberglass Warehouse. They also have a discount code. It's Fish Bump TV for a substantial savings there. They also carry Gelcoat, fiberglass, all kind of materials and putties, anything you might need for your project. But I want to show you the difference. Say, for example, we're showing 87.3 degrees on our container of vinyl ester that's been sitting out, and we're showing 76.1 degrees. So that is a considerable difference, and that's going to buy you some time. Now, the same would apply, like, say, for example, your Gelcoat. You could use Gelcoat, you can cool it down, and it's going to give you a longer cure time or a longer working window. Now, one of the other things that people make the mistake of doing is maybe pouring up a big container, maybe 2 quarts or a gallon. And the more material you have in a mass like that, it's going to generate heat within itself. That's called an exothermic reaction. And then once it starts to cure, it gets warm. The warmth speeds up the cure, and it's like this runaway train effect. So generally, I would recommend working in smaller batches, like a quart or even a pint at a time. And then using something like this little metered or graduated mixing cup to mix very accurately. So you can see here what I've done is I've highlighted the CC marks, 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on and so forth, so that I could see it really quickly at a glance. But you don't want to just be randomly pouring some resin and pouring a little catalyst. That way you can dial in your catalyst percentages, and if you notice it's curing faster than you would like, you can dial the catalyst down a little bit. But accuracy is very important. This is going to keep you in the realm of where you need to be, but always on the lower side or slightly lower as far as the CCs. Now another trick you can do is after you've mixed it in this cup, put it in a pan or pour it out on the surface that you're working on. And what that's going to do, matter of fact, a lot of times I will even take it and let it circulate around the pan. That's going to get some good airflow over the pan versus it being in a container that you're going to be generating heat. And a good fan is going to make a difference. Now, a lot of times when you folks have been watching these videos, I may not be wearing a mask because of audio quality, but we almost always have a good fan, and we've got a big shop with big open doors, and we got airflow going through here. But that air blowing across this pan will also help shed some heat and help keep that cooler, which is very, very important. Now, a couple other things. We've kind of covered some of the basics as far as what you can do to give yourself a longer work time. One thing you would want to avoid, if possible, is working out in the direct sunlight. UV and sunlight is going to accelerate the cure rate. So we're fortunate here, we've got a roof overhead and a shop, and we can take advantage of that. But by all means, if you're working out of doors, if you can put some kind of a tarp or a cover over your work area, that's going to help extend your work time and make it more comfortable for you. Now, there are also a couple other things. Now, this is a inexpensive, what's called a spray sock. When you're working with fiberglass and resin in the summertime, you may start to sweat profusely, and you don't want that sweat to contaminate the surfaces you're working on. So always a good idea to wear some gloves if possible. And I want to show you another item, the spray sock. Now what the gloves will do is that'll help keep sweat from getting into your fiberglass fabric, which is a no-no. You do not want to get sweat in your fiberglass fabric. Water is, basically sweat is water, and water is not compatible with fiberglass, epoxy, and gel coat. Now this is what a spray sock looks like, and if you've never used one, they're quite handy. We use them a lot when we're grinding, but they're also excellent for keeping perspiration from dripping off of your neck, off of your face, off of your forehead, and it can actually help reduce the amount of contaminants you might possibly get on the surface. Now this may seem counterintuitive. We're talking about not wanting water, but we're also talking about being comfortable. Sometimes these can be a little warm or a little hot. As a matter of fact, you folks may wonder, I always wear these long sleeve blue Columbia shirts. And there's a reason for that. For one, in the winter times, it'll help keep the fiberglass fibers off of my skin. But in the summertime, we will take some water in a spray bottle, and to cool yourself down, we will actually lightly wet the surface of these shirts. And the material in shirts like this is designed to help wick away sweat or moisture, and you get a cooling effect. And it's amazing. You may think a long sleeve shirt like this is hot, but if you spray a little water on it, got a fan blowing, it's like working in the air conditioning. Now this may seem funny, but the same for the spray sock. You can spray a little bit of moisture on and around this, and it'll help keep your neck cool. Don't spray so much that you're dripping water on there, but spray enough to help cool yourself down. So that's a handful of tips there. Now I'm doing this kind of off the cuff there, folks, so may have messed up my hair there. I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't have cliff notes or anything that I'm working off of. It's just from experience, from doing this since I was a little boy. My father was a boat builder, my brother's a boat builder, grew up in the shop doing this, and it comes naturally to me. So sometimes when I'm thinking of folks at home like DIYers, if you're new to fiberglass, if you're trying to work with a big mass of it and you are in the middle of the day and it's in the sunlight, you may lose a whole gallon of resin or gel coat, and you may decide you never want to do fiberglass again. Whereas a professional like myself, a few of these tricks you can implement and make all the difference. Now, when you're laying up fiberglass, for example, I've got several layers or pieces of 1708 biaxial. That's the 45 degree with the one layer of 3/4 ounce CSM on the back side. You can definitely regulate how many layers you use as well. So like when we were working on our project boat over here, when we were laying up stringers, we did like 3 layers at a time. So we did 3 layers because the temperatures were cooler. But as you build layers, it's gonna generate heat. So the more glass you try to apply in one shot, the faster it's gonna cure. And we don't want that in the summertime. So you may decide to only do 1 or 2 layers and then let that cure off and then come back, and if you gotta add more layers, you would stack it. Now in the wintertime, you may be able to do 3 or 4 layers. You got quite a bit of thickness there, and it would actually be beneficial in the wintertime because it would help it to cure. But in the summertime, remember, you're gonna wanna apply less layers, especially when you're doing heavy layups like on transoms and on stringers, which again, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen our project boat, we've already replaced the transom with some Coosa board. We've already got a couple stringers cut out. But some of you folks that have been following the channel may wonder where I've been. We have been fishing like crazy this summer. We have been catching all kind of big fish out in the Gulf. King mackerel, red snapper, big cobia, even a few tarpon this year. So that's where we've been. But our summer season is starting to slow down. But it reminds me, if any of y'all want to come down and visit this area and fish with us, give me a call. And if any of y'all have project boats where you need direct consulting, you can actually contact me through Patreon. And if you want to talk to me directly, send me some pictures. Patreon is the way to do that, and I can help you with your personal project and answer specific questions. And again, Fiberglass Warehouse for all of our resin and Gelcoat, and Amazon is going to have a lot of the cool little items like the temperature probe and the metered mixing cups, and all that is going to be available. Now, one more thing that may happen when you are working with, say, multiple layers, even if, say, you only do 2 layers, but maybe it kind of bunches up in the corners or overlaps and you got more than 2 layers in certain overlaps, you may notice that it'll start to generate some heat when it cures in exotherms, and you don't want to let it get too hot. So it's not uncommon for it in a runaway situation. It could get over 125, 130 degrees. And a lot of times what we will use is some compressed air if you got it. So just an air hose, and say, for example, if this was your laminated glass and it started to run away and you could tell it was getting hot, or if you're monitoring it with your infrared and you notice it's climbing rapidly in temperature, I will either put a fan near it like we've got on our work area, or we would just use some compressed air, and it's amazing how well that will help bring the temperatures down of your curing glass. So I think I covered most everything here, folks. These are some pretty easy things to implement, and don't be afraid of doing fiberglass work in the summertime. Remember, all the pros, we don't fully shut down in the summertime. If I weren't running charters in the summer, our family built boats 12 months out of the year. But try to work when it's not the hottest part of the day. Reduce your catalyst ratios down to like 1% or maybe even slightly lower. Absolutely do not work out in the sunshine. If you're out in the sun, you're gonna lose some material and you're not gonna be happy. Have a good fan with some airflow. Work your resin in a pan. You don't wanna leave it in a large mass. And work with lower quantities. So never mix up like 2 quarts at a time. Keep it down to like a pint or a quart. Practice your procedures so you work faster, and if you can implement some help. I'm fortunate to have a brother, my brother Mark, or my son Logan can help me, and they're handing me stuff, and we have things staged and ready. Matter of fact, you can even see over here, like on our project boat, we've got our biaxial pieces already cut and measured so that when we start fiberglassing, we don't have any hiccups there. So if I forgot anything, or any of you folks out there have any other little tips or things that you've learned in your personal experience, feel free to comment down below. Also, feel free to check out our Facebook group page. Once again, Fiberglass Warehouse. Use your discount code FishBumpTV for a savings on all the materials you use there. And I just genuinely want to thank everybody. I apologize for not posting more often here lately, but we've just been actively out fishing. It's Captain Joe here with Island Marine Charters, Fish Bump TV. My son Logan working hard behind the scenes as my amazing cameraman. And we'll catch you folks in the next episode.